In the Happy Camper version of the Minnie Mouse skirt, I want to show you how to do it when you have a printed fabric. So you need to make sure that your design lines up across and runs the same way. I'm also using for it a really nice polka dot trim, and I'm going to put that on a little bit different to the Minnie Mouse skirt, and the waistband is also in the polka dot trim. I have closed the side seams, and you could do them with a French seam or overlock, that's up to you. French seam you can see on the seaside beach hat skirt. So what you want to do is, after you've closed the side seam and you ironed the trim lengthways in half, you open it back out, and now we're going to put the right side onto the right side. That's very different to how you would normally work, so that the trim will end up being closed on the outside. So you sew that on all the way around with a centimetre seam allowance. And when that's done, you need to make sure that you iron your seam downwards so that it will disappear into the trim. And you have really two options here. Number one is to just turn in the fabric and then top stitch from the outside. But I'm going to show you how to do it with a ribbon, which makes it a little bit flatter. So I'm sewing the ribbon on all the way around, sort of halfway off and halfway on my polka dot trim. And then I pull it up to the amount that I think looks really good. And again, I can now pin this and sew it on, and that way it's totally clean both sides. So if you don't have an overlocker, this is an ideal way of doing it. Now I've finished this, you can see that is just so clean. I much prefer to an overlocked edge actually. Now you also put on the waistband exactly the same way as before, and then do your French seam, and then you do your French seam darts, which are ironed towards the outside, and then you turn in the waistband again, sort of half a centimetre up, and you pin that just over that stitch line again. But what we're going to do is actually from the outside, we're going to stitch right underneath the waistband, so it literally disappears into the seam. And so you need to make sure that it's long enough, so check it with a pin and see whether that's okay, and if it is, you can just stitch it through from the outside, and it should look like this, quite neatly and quite closely stitched. Well, next step of course is to put the elastic in, again same as in the Minnie Mouse and the beach hat skirt, so I'm not showing you that. Just thread it through, and then instead of attaching it on top of the waistband, we're doing exactly the same. We're stitching in the groove. No top stitching is visible on this, which is a really fine and neat finish. And of course I could have made sure that actually this lined up. I didn't get it quite right there, but it's a very cute skirt. So if you've only come across this video, then make sure that you also watch the seaside beach hat video, and of course the Minnie Mouse, which shows you everything in much more detail. Thank you for watching right through the end again, and I will see you next time. Pattern is available from frocksandfrolics.com, which will take you to the link to either etsy.com or craftsy.com.